Jaylen Brown is now an NBA champion, a finals MVP, and a bona fide genius. But did you know that Jalen's dad was a 7-foot-tall heavyweight boxer, or that he has a deep passion for tech? If so, you must be a big fan. But did you know that Jaylen Brown speaks multiple languages, including Spanish and Arabic, plays guitar and piano, was the youngest person to lecture at Harvard, got offered a job at NASA, and taught a robotics class at MIT, all before reaching his first NBA Finals? But even with all his recent successes on the court, his real accolades are found off the court, leading me to believe that the NBA is quite literally his part-time job. A very, very lucrative part-time job. Jaylen Brown has a long laundry list of academic achievements, and while most players in the offseason are chilling down in Cancun, Jaylen Brown can be found giving lectures, taking lucrative internships, and being an active member in the community. But it wasn't always like this. Even as far as his draft night, most scouts considered him the worst pick of the draft. Brown's intelligence scared most organizations because he didn't fit the mold of a basketball player. But to understand how Jaylen Brown got to be where he is today, we have to rewind all the way back to his impressive childhood. Born October 24, 1996 in Marietta, Georgia, Jaylen Brown and his brother Quentin were raised by a single mom. Jaylen Brown has always publicly acknowledged his mother's influence. Jalen's mom, Michelle, was always an active parental role in his life. Therefore, she clearly remembers the day Jaylen Brown fell in love with basketball. His mother told ESPN that his love for the sport started when he was 9 months old and saw a basketball roll by him on the living room floor of their home. That's quite the early age to fall in love with basketball, especially because Jalen's family wasn't really a basketball family like the sons of former NBA players. Jalen's mom, Michelle, has 2 degrees, including a PhD, so it's crystal clear where he got his intelligence and education from. But what about his freakish athleticism? The answer is his father, Marcellus Brown, who had a successful athletic career as well, but not in basketball, but in boxing. Marcellus Brown was a heavyweight boxing champion and stood at a crazy 7 feet tall. By the time he retired, he had a 33-18-1 record and a staggering 25 wins by knockout. With the intelligence of his mother and the athleticism and genes of his father, it's all starting to make sense now why Jaylen Brown is arguably the most interesting man in the NBA, both on and off the court. In high school, Jaylen was a force on the court. Being named Mr. Georgia Basketball in a state known for its basketball talent is no easy feat. With such an impressive resume in high school, any other player in his shoes would have gone to a college basketball powerhouse like Kentucky, Kansas, or Duke. But not Jaylen, opting for UC Berkeley for their academic program, a decision that is often rare among NBA players when making college decisions. But academic success and athletic success go hand in hand with Jaylen. Therefore, it's not surprising how many academic achievements Jaylen had in just his freshman year, as he took graduate-level courses and even made the varsity chess team. You'd think that chess has nothing to do with his basketball ability, but I disagree. The mental strength and strategy it takes to be great at chess definitely helps Brown with his decision-making on the court. In his one-and-done year at UC Berkeley, he won Pac-12 Freshman of the Year and made the Pac-12 All-First Team, all while averaging 14.6 points, 5.4 rebounds, 2 assists, and maintaining a 3.9 GPA. Talk about multitasking. Even with all his impressive accolades, most teams were scared to draft him, and it had to take a bold front office to draft him. Therefore, he was drafted 3rd overall by the Boston Celtics. His first season in the league wasn't anything crazy, as he averaged just 6 points per game, but showed flashes of efficient shooting, lockdown defense, and was considered to develop into a good role player. But that was just his first season, and Brown's determination and hard work pushed him to improve year after year. Until eventually he got his first taste of playoff success in 2018 when the Celtics made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals without Kyrie Irving and pushed LeBron James to a 7-game series. That was enough not only for the Boston Celtics to go all in on their young core, but for Jaylen to strive to improve his game and physical frame, even putting on upwards of 25 pounds of muscle from his rookie year to now. Did you know that in 2021 he got offered an internship at NASA? Yeah, NASA. And just a year later, he made his first finals back in 2022. Although Brown and his team lost, they learned valuable playoff experience. Jaylen Brown now has the largest contract in NBA history. Not even LeBron gets paid $300 million, at least not with his NBA salary, as LeBron has cemented himself as an elite investor and has multiple companies. But Jaylen Brown also has some business ventures outside the NBA, as he's the founder of Juice. Founded by Jaylen Brown, the Juice Foundation partners with institutions, organizations, and social change leaders to bridge the opportunity gap for youth in traditionally underserved Black and Brown communities. Not only does he take care of the community with his company, but he takes care of his family as well, as many family members of Jaylen work in his foundation. His cousin Malcolm Durr is the creative director of the foundation's apparel line, and his older brother Quentin Brown is the director of the Juice Foundation. Jaylen Brown was raised to always question everything. He believes the world is constantly changing, and his mission is to help change it for the better. Regardless of his age, Jaylen Brown is wise beyond his years and has managed to do some incredible things, all while still being in his early 20s. One of his proudest moments was when he became the youngest person to lecture at Harvard. He was 22 years old. That same year, he also became the youngest vice president of the Players Union. It's clear that he always wants to be in the front lines of promoting positive change. In the middle of the pandemic, Brown took to the streets and became a beacon of hope and activism as he helped spread the message of the Black Lives Matter movement. With all that being said, many NBA fans still don't believe in Jaylen Brown as a basketball player, although his massive contract begs to differ. But did you know that while he and his agent were in negotiations for the contract, Jaylen Brown was teaching robotics classes at MIT? Throughout NBA history, we've seen some bright players that not only make it to the NBA, but also graduate with degrees. But no one mixes academic and athletic success quite like Jaylen Brown. He's also extremely humble. In his rookie contract, instead of bailing out and wasting his money on cars and parties like many young players do, Jaylen bought his mom a house, making sure he took care of the person who took care of him. And before he bought a house for himself, he bought a piano. He couldn't even play yet, but Jaylen always wanted to learn, but his family couldn't afford it. With all that being said, I don't know about you, but I certainly see Jaylen Brown in a different light. He's an inspiration to any young person striving to achieve great things and change the world. Check out my video on Zaire Wade, Bronny James, and Julian Newman to see what the opposite of a bright young player looks like. If you like this video, well, like this video and consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind.